Welcome to the Berliner Sinne featuring Mehlhose, our Corona special, and I'm delighted to have a guest today, a female and social entrepreneur, Lubomila Jordanova. I hope I pronounced it correctly. She's the CEO of Plan A, but I'm sure she can introduce herself much better. Hey, Lubomila, nice to have you.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm super happy to be here.
So maybe you can tell us more about yourself and about Plan A. What exactly are you doing?
I started Plan A 3 years ago, and the vision has always been to help individuals and companies find ways in which they can act against climate change. There's been a lot of talking over the last few years, but not so much action. So in order to help companies and individuals, we essentially have built a software that helps them calculate, monitor, and reduce their emissions. The system learns about the company through data, builds a dashboard for them, and then based on the worst performing indicators, builds a sustainability action plan that changes each month. So we become sustainable step by step.
Maybe some more insight about the name, Plan A. Is there any special meaning behind it?
So one of the things of the name was that you first need to Google the name in order to find out what kind of photo up, because there's a lot of interesting, on the internet. Ana in Spanish means a flat land, which is nice. So quite often when you Google Plan A as one word, you end up seeing a lot of green scenery, which is beautiful. Then it turned out that there's Plan B is the product company for films of Brad Pitt. So this was the other thing that was showing up when you search for it. And then there was kind of not that much going on. So I like the name because it has a deep meaning in terms of there's no Plan B. It's not about us trying to find ways in which we can cut the corners in order to become sustainable. It's about, taking care of the first option. And .earth was kind of a lucky thing because basically .earth just became available in 2017 when I bought the domain. They just opened up, this kind of .berlin, .city. So yeah, just jumped on the first wave of that and combined it with something that was filled with grass.
I like it. One more thing about your business. You worked before, I think, in fintech, for example, and now you have a social business. What is the difference, or are there differences? Can you tell me something about that?
Business is business. I think being with the business mind and business experience really helps you to kind of apply certain frameworks in your work so that you have more effective understanding of how to make revenue, how to hire, how to project for the future. But when it comes to the social entrepreneurship, I definitely went through my own journey to find the balance between purpose and profit, and to learn also that, in what I'm doing, there's definitely planet first and profit comes second. And we do this and we justify this in the behavior of Plan A every single day since we have started. The transition was really straightforward because I was so passionate about climate change, and I spent basically 6 months educating myself about the issues of climate change, and then decided to quit my job. So kind of was making sure that I was building up this commitment a long time. It was not like overnight. That allowed me to really deeply start connecting with the topic. And yeah, the business side helped kind of to make sure that there's certain infrastructure and, building blocks that can help me build something that stands for a long time.
And you're based in Berlin. Is there any special reason why you founded your company in Berlin?
When I was starting with planning, I was still in London. I'm from Bulgaria, but I have been spending the last 10 years before moving to Berlin in London. And exactly when I was thinking about Plan A and setting up a company, Brexit happened. I speak German, so it kind of is a helpful thing to consider. So when Brexit happened, I basically was at this crossroad of deciding whether it makes sense to stay in London and potentially go through double taxation, which was what a lot of lawyers were telling me is the most likely scenario, and also prolonged legislative process, which is kind of what we've seen for 3.5 years. And I also was kind of ready for a change. Berlin attracted me a lot with its openness and also focus on social impact. Before it was cool, there was a lot of people that cared, people that were activists, people that had a lot of deep understanding about causes. And I wanted to connect to such. In London, it's a lot more business-like, and at least if you don't end up in the artistic scene. So, but in Berlin, it's kind of a good mix between all these topics. So this really attracted me. Then putting Brexit on top, then putting the fact that I speak German so I can be more comfortable in the environment, plus a cool city. It kind of was a decision that was made by itself.
Okay, I like what you say about Berlin. That's very nice reasons to come here. What is not so nice is the current situation and Corona and how it impacts all of us. So maybe you can tell us how it impacts you and your business on a daily basis.
So it has been really challenging to work from home. It's not that, it's me complaining. It's more, I definitely miss being able to work with my team. We also onboarded some new people on the team during the crisis. And believe me, onboarding someone remote is not fun. Like, it's just like, high five, welcome to the team. Like, it's just not really exciting. How it impacted us has definitely changed the culture of work. We basically had to adapt to new ways of being and make sure that we still are this entertaining, fun team that we've always been, but like with the obligatory gaps of not hearing from each other, not seeing each other for a few hours, because we do a daily stand-up, we do like in between catch-ups, but it's not the same. The second aspect has been that we definitely have seen a lot more bigger companies coming to us rather than the SMEs are really hit hard by the crisis, and we fall within the same category. I've always planned financially, like, to have a significant buffer, because I'm scared of these kinds of all of a sudden situations where I wouldn't be able to be feeling secure and to make sure that my team is safe. So we're not financially stringent at the moment, but what has been definitely visible is that SME, small companies, preferring to postpone discussions about sustainability. The big companies are continuing to push, and we actually got a lot of new clients through the crisis, because now they're finding the space and time to actually sit down and think about initiatives like that. But yeah, it's been quite of an interesting thing. We kind of have a new focus at the moment.
You were talking about your employees or people you're onboarding. You as a head of a company, I think you probably feel responsible for your people. What would you say as a leader? What is important during such a difficult time, or how you want to handle the crisis?
One thing that we did in the beginning with the team is to spend a few hours discussing how everyone is feeling. I think this crisis took us a bit unprepared, and no one was expecting that they would end up spending their time at home in the midst of spring, knowing that their office is around the corner and their team is waiting to meet them. And it was really eye-opening to discuss with the team how they were feeling, because it kind of, there were some bottled down feelings that were not being discussed about the fact that, if you live alone, you don't have anyone to chat to, your only anchor is family, friends, and your colleagues. The other aspect was that people were feeling quite bored. That's obvious. I put together some list of links that could be of help, so that you can find entertainment, go around museums online and stuff like that. My approach has been, first of all, to observe, which is what I always do, making sure that I'm really in the know of how the team is feeling on one by one case, not like as a general even, because, everyone has different feelings, different responses. And then the second aspect has been to like really keep the spirits up, just making sure that every single interaction we have is filled with like laughter and positive vibes, and just like making sure that we celebrate every single success, because we had quite a few things that we could celebrate on the team over the last few weeks. And just focusing on this and making sure I really understand how everyone is feeling.
Okay, you were talking about keeping spirits up. Maybe at the end of our interview, can you keep our spirits up by saying or giving us a positive outlook to the future, how we can learn from this crisis? What will change in a positive way? Is there anything you can come up with?
One thing that already has been changing is the fact that emission levels have significantly dropped. And even if you don't necessarily know a lot about climate change or about pollution, this is massive, because this gives us an opportunity to, experience the city in a totally different way. There's cities like Delhi where all of a sudden you can see beyond 3 meters. There's cities in China where there's been for quarter 25% drop in emission levels, which is unheard of in decades. And this is one positive aspect from the crisis. On a more personal kind of human level, I would say that we have proven ourselves that we're capable of working together. This is a societal issue on a grander scale. This is not a problem that only connects me or connects like me and my neighbors. It's about basically the whole planet being at a crisis. And we have been so solidary with one another. And I think we should be proud of that, and we should learn as a lesson for the future, because I think this resilience is also preparing us for the next challenges ahead, climate change being one of them. And what this proves to us is that humans are a lot bigger and better than, what we think of ourselves. And I would hope that everyone also feels for themselves the opportunity to see that they would come out as a different, more resilient person out of this crisis.
Awesome. I think that's a great statement. You brought at least my spirits up. So that's very good. Thank you. Thank you for taking your time and giving us some insights. I wish you good luck with your business, because I like the cause a lot. And stay healthy.
Thank you so much, Ola, for the opportunity to talk to you, and stay safe.
Thanks. Bye-bye.